Welcome. This podcast is a series of candid conversations exploring the human experience from a completely new perspective. In it, we will be diving deeply into the meaning of commonly used words and pointing you away from that old stressful way of looking at life and towards a new paradigm. This will help you find a sense of calm, cultivate meaningful relationships, and create harmony in every aspect of your life. Here is Navigating Life with Ease with Michaela, Ellis and Clare, Downham.
Good day, Claire.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, good. We're now snow free. Took a while. Finally gone. Yes.
Nice.
Warmed up and now the snow's all gone.
Well, we have a ton of snow and a little bit less ice because it was a bit yesterday I went for a walk and I put my grips into my hood because I wasn't sure if I needed them and I'd prefer to walk without them. I didn't. So there's still a ton of snow, but there will be more ice when it melts.
The ice is not funny, is it? Not funny at all.
Yeah. Well, it can even like feed into this topic this morning.
What is this topic? What is this topic?
Well, this topic, this word for you is safety.
Oh, that's a good one. Do you know what first pops into my head is seeing a lot of stuff a while ago when I used to hang around on LinkedIn a little bit more about psychological safety. That became a real, I don't know if you noticed it over there, but it became a bit of a buzz phrase over here, and that all being about the business's responsibility to provide psychological safety for people. And much as we're not saying like treat people awfully, like nobody's saying that, the whole idea that our psychological safety can come from the outside world, I just found it really interesting to see that was just being spoken about as if it was right that that psychological safety could be provided by people putting things in place in a business. Like, I don't know, beanbag rooms come to mind. But like all sorts of like things that people needed to put in place in order for people to feel safe at work. And like,
Claire, can I just get you to repeat what you had just said? That word you said, like
beanbag rooms, like
beanbag rooms,
so that people had somewhere to go when they weren't coping with life, kind of thing. Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, that's just a joke, really, but the like safety is really interesting because I think that there are some like we absolutely must make sure that this is kept, that the body is kept safe, and that means, like we've just been talking about ice, it has come into the conversation, you see, that I think a few days after it snowed here really heavily, the ground was just you couldn't walk on it. It's just not safe to go out walking. I don't have the grippy things. I did nearly buy some from Amazon because I was like, oh, is this going to be our winter now? I better buy something for my shoes. But anyway, I managed to without walk for a few days and then it was fine again. And then I went out on Monday and it was really starting to melt. So the temperature had gone way up above zero. It was like 7-8 degrees C. But the ice was just ice with like a layer of water on the top. So it was I mean, you literally couldn't, you stood on it and you couldn't move because as soon as you tried to move, you just went, woo, like you're slipping about all over the place. So I think, and so it made sense to just I walked on the road. Somebody put on Facebook in my village, they said, the choice today, slide on the ice or battle with the cars. And I think most of us chose to actually walk on the road, obviously carefully. But I do think that there's some sensible things to do in life to keep yourself safe. Like, perhaps for many of us, it may be just don't go out at night into some really dodgy area of your city. Not a good idea. Or, drive carefully at the right speed. make sure you're not drunk behind the, there's all sorts of things that, like, and also, for some people who may be in relationships that are difficult and physically dangerous, we're not saying stay in those situations. We're saying the physical body can be damaged and hurt by the outside world. But psychological safety is not the same thing, because of what we're saying here, which is that our experience is created from the inside out. And it is still, again, it still makes sense to move out of a physically dangerous situation. But so much of when we don't feel safe is nothing to do with what's really happening right now. And in fact, when we're really in danger right now, we really almost automatically move to keep ourselves safe. Our body won't let us just stand there and receive something that's gonna hurt the body. If I've told this story before, I don't know if I've told it on this podcast, but I was chased by cows a few years ago, and, it was really weird. There was cows and calves in a field and a bull, which is just not very sensible, on a public path, which was a permissible path. Public path, not abysmal, public path. And I as I stepped into this field, it did feel a little bit off, because there was a mother and a baby right next to the gate, and they didn't move, just not afraid of me at all. They were like proper, arms folded, bolshy cows. Just, as I started walking down, there was a dry stone wall. I started walking down the edge of the wall. It was like they were possessed. They all just turned. There was a big moo from the back somewhere. I'm sure it was the bull. And they all turned and started to walk. Now, they weren't running, but they were walking quite briskly towards me. And I thought, oh my God, they're coming for me. And I had to climb over the wall. And luckily there were sheep in the next field, not some crazy bull or something. But what was interesting was that my body moved and was over that wall into safety before my mind even got engaged with it. It was like that. My body just knew, get away from these cows that are coming towards you. They're not happy. And it was only when I got over that wall that my mind went mad with what could have happened. So then I felt really unsafe. I felt jittery. I knew that later on in the walk, there was another field with cows in it that I was going to have to walk through if I wanted to carry on this walk. And being, a bloody-minded Yorkshire woman, obviously I was going to carry on the walk. But my mind started to go, and then I started to feel jittery, and I started to feel unsafe, and I started to feel afraid. And at that point, I was in a field of sheep. I've only once been chased by sheep. Very strange bunch of sheep. None of them run away from you, don't they? This lot, they were chasing after me and bricks on a wall at once. Clearly, walking and getting chased by animals is my thing. But yeah, it was. I was perfectly safe by that point, but in my head, I wasn't. In my head was going over all the stories of what could have happened and what might happen later on the walk, and how I could have died. Every year in this country, there's some story about somebody getting trampled by cows. It's like quite common. Walkers go out. They've got a dog usually. The cows don't like the dog, and they go for them. But there's seeing the real difference. Like, I can sit here and start worrying about, anything in my life that feels unsafe, and, fill myself full of fear and a horrible feeling and feel actually unsafe. I think money's quite interesting around this. We can sit here and propel ourselves into a life under the viaduct or the bridge. We've had this conversation before, haven't we? The doom and gloom and losing our home and not feeling safe, and like, we can go there, can't we? But it's not real. And the body's gonna tell us, like, if we're feeling unsafe and we're literally sat in our house in the warmth and the dry, then we're in our thinking, we're in an illusion that we've created. So that was quite a long introductory ramble there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that was really good. And my initial thoughts for bringing this word up, like, you've added so much more in there. And I knew it was more than what brought it up in the conversation in the first place. And it was around outside psychological safety. It was related, this would be helpful for some business owners maybe today too. There's, where there's a gentleman, Bradley Morris, who teaches about having a business, a viable, ethical business, and not being on social media. And he has a number of, free workshops. That's what his he has a free workshop around that. And that's cool. And I see that, that's helpful. And then this morning I heard this is Tad Hargrave. We know too, he's also very ethical and marketing for hippies. I'll put that out there because I think he's brilliant as well. And he put a twist on that about this social media because he believes, he has his pyramid in his business. And one of the things, his baseline, actually this year, he added space to his base pyramid, but for quite a number of years, I believe it was ethics. And one of the things around this ethics was about having people feel safe. And so you and I know that our safety, yes, we do have a physical body. It is important to do what we know to do to keep it safe and alive so we can continue, and maybe some of us evolve into, there's so much available to us. We have this infinite possibilities around us, and we've been put here to be an expression of the creative source energy in a way that only you can do through your body and only I can do through my body, and so on and so on and so on. So I really believe that we're here and we're all a very unique cog in the wheel, that when we all show up honestly, truthfully as ourselves, we create just wonderful, wonderful experience for everybody. Okay. So this idea about safety, and it's like, what it was about was getting to know you. So for example, if you are a business owner and you don't want to be in social media, it's like, okay, so how can people get to know you? And you hear that like trust factor, all of that. But really, he puts it in a way, it's like, what is really happening? It's like, oh yeah, people feel safe with you. I just had a little exchange with someone this week about how they feel like they can only be themselves around some people. Now, what does that mean? To me, that means when they're around, and I have it too. There are some people in my life where I feel like I can't be, there's some parts of me I need to I'm not going to talk about that because for whatever reason, right? So it's just like, so there are times when I feel safe. I can be all of me around these people. And guess what? Those are the people I prefer to be around. And there are some people who I may admire, I may respect, and there may be things that we connect on really well. And I feel safe. Now I'm going to exchange safe with being me. Because really, isn't that it? That I can't be me? If I'm feeling unsafe, it means that I can't be myself. I need to be someone else, or I'm in the wrong community or whatever. Anyway, it came around, oh, is that what people are really looking for? There's all kinds of things that they're really looking for. I really kind of see at the base of it, though, we are always tracking back to a place where we feel like we will be accepted, we will be helped. And we may have an idea that you can help me get something or do something. But at the base of it, it's like, oh, we really want help to be ourselves. It's like, how can we really, and we might think, I used to think in business, like years, I'm unwinding all of that. But I used to think that I did need to be someone who I wasn't. I did need to be this kick-ass person who was going to push, and that was just, And there were times, depending on whose energy I was around, that I felt like I could do that. And then when I would go out and try and do that, it's like, bleh, that is so not me. I so do not feel safe. I don't feel good about myself. I don't like, please disregard, clear, erase. You know? So this idea of safety, and from the business perspective, I get what Tad was talking about. If you're not going to do social media, how can you let people know you and feel you and taste you and understand and get a sense of you? And like, how much can you actually say outright about yourself to help people know, oh yeah, this isn't my chick? Or it's like, oh, okay, I want to know more. I want to hear more. What else has she got or he got that I could listen to? Maybe it's on a podcast, who knows what it is. You can develop your own thing. So that in a way is like outside psychological safety. But really, you may be getting it from out there, but it's always coming back to you and your innate sense of, this is right for me, or this person, or offer whatever the heck it is, or not. And when you're really kind of connected with yourself, you're kind of present. Like me yesterday, I was it had been a number of days since I've been out, and things can change a lot in a day on the paths and the streets and stuff here because of the Chinooks and the melting and the new snow. So yesterday I tucked my grips along because it's like, I don't know what it's like. I'm glad to have them along. There was a few times where I thought about putting them on, and it was like, no, it's okay. There was always places. So I was present to the situation. I was present to me and what do I need? And this morning, I didn't take them. Nothing changed in the weather. Got warmer actually, but there was no more new snow, nothing like that. And it's like, no, I feel good. So it is really getting present to the moment. And what do you know? And if I had a sense this morning, maybe I thought about the grips, like briefly came up. It's like, no, I feel good about not taking them. And I was fine. But it's like, yeah, just one more thing I'd like to share, because this is what came up when you were talking too. There was a book, and I'm not very good about multitasking, but there was a book that a gentleman wrote. You've probably heard about it. It's been talked about, but it's a guy who wrote a book about, I don't know, I think he was some FBI dude or some guy, who had a lot to do with the underworld and knowing all that. And he wrote a book. He was interviewing people who had been attacked. I think it was Gary something. I don't know. And there was times, the point of the book is to show you that you have everything within you to stay safe. And he pointed out with these, people's stories, that there were points along the way where they knew they got a warning signal and they ignored it. Their mind told them, don't be silly. Oh, it's fine. All of that. It was shocking to me in reading this book how many times we ignore the messages that are coming up from within, and we listen to our mind telling us, don't be silly. Oh, whatever it is that it's telling you. You can trust who you really are to keep you safe. Like, that is where your psychological and all safety comes from. Yeah, anyways, I really wanted to point that out because that was shocking to me. And it's like, oh my gosh, I've done that. And I've been lucky, like so lucky, because it could have, many instances. I'm sure we all have stories that it's just like God was looking out, or whatever we believe was looking out for us that day. Yeah.
There's something coming up as you were talking about, that I guess something between the physical safety and the safety of the ego, which, in all those places where we think we're going to be judged, we think we can't be ourselves. We think we can't show up, like talking again about business again, we can't show up the way we want to show up. We can't say the things we think we want to say. That is because there's a fear, that the ego won't be safe, that there will be, something that is, of detriment to ego. It's like I often say, people, perhaps as a child, somebody stood up in class and read out a poem and they were laughed at, or teacher said that was rubbish, sit down, or whatever. And then that feeling of wanting to avoid that kind of stuff to stay safe stays with that person until they see it. It stays there as a piece of that person's conditioning, which means they then can't do a live video, or they can't do public speaking, or they can't do whatever, because there's a sense that there's risk involved. But it's only risk to the ego, isn't it? Like it's not risk to the physical body. Although they say most people fear public speaking more than would prefer to do death than for public speaking. This I don't know. Most people, when asked, say, "Would you rather die or do public speaking?" Most people say they'd rather die. It's a little dramatic, really. Yeah.
And what are they really? Yeah, and what are they really afraid of?
Judgment.
I know for me it is, yeah, absolutely. It's
Mhm.
not about the public speaking, actually.
No.
They speak probably in public often. They go out to a shop and say hello to someone. Then that's a very tiny speech, but but it's
Yeah.
like we do it. We determine some situations safe that I can speak here,
Yeah.
not safe here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is sort of popping open some doors that I've previously kept shut, knocking them. I recently, because there are things, it really helps to understand these things, to know it's like, what am I trying to keep myself safe from? And how do I think that, and we might all agree that public speaking is kind of extreme, because usually but really we can public speak. If you do a post about something that happened in your life on Facebook, that's public speaking. And I personally know some people who they, will call themselves a lurker, because it's just like, no, I like to stay in connection, but I'm not going to post any, like they don't want to be seen. There is, and that could be a safety thing too. I know we've all been, maybe not all, but we've been, I know a number of people who have their identities have been stolen, right? And now there's someone new coming in, that kind of thing. But there's usually some more basic fears of just being seen. And yeah, I think it's just being judged, not being accepted. But again, all that fear is only in our mind, imagining, in general, what will people think? Or maybe this happens to me where specific people will come to mind, and it's like, oh, what will they think if they see it? And it's like the chances of them even being in my world, it's like they're not going to see it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I allow myself to be taken away on this crazy ride of what might happen. And then seeing so clearly that, oh, that's not true. It's not even happened. And all there is.
Yeah, it's literally our own thinking, isn't it? That we think's in somebody else's head all the time.
Yes.
We think we know what's in somebody else's head. That's our own judgment of ourselves. That's all it is. Like, it's nothing to do with another person at all.
Yeah.
We can't know what anybody else is thinking. And anyway, who cares? I don't anymore. I've got to that stage. I'm just like, yeah, that obnoxious middle-aged woman who doesn't care what anybody else thinks.
I would exchange obnoxious for honest.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, that was
Yeah,
lovely. That could go on all night, I think, that one.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Mm.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Claire. That was
Great work.
helpful. I usually these explorations are
Mm,
helpful. I hope they're as helpful to our listeners as they are to me.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.
Yes,
See you
you're
soon.
welcome. Yep.
Bye.
See you again. Ciao. Hey, thank you for being a part of Navigating Life with Ease. We'd love to hear your feedback and receive a review on your favorite podcast platform. This will help others who'd also like more ease in their life to find us. We're here to support you, so if you've any words you'd like us to explore or you have a question, please reach out to us at navigatinglifewithease@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes of Navigating Life with Ease.